I want to go over a few stretches with you. And so after we go through the mobility program, I'm talking about the motion with the hips, like we did the windshield wipers, knee to chest, the modified piriformis stretches. Now the next phase is flexibility. So now we want to start working on lengthening the muscles so that we get the best contraction. So again, we're recapping. Our muscles are too stretched out sometimes because of posture or position. Our muscles get lengthened too much and the fibers can't contract, versus if you have too tight of a muscle, say someone's bound down their shoulder or their hip flexor, the muscle fibers are too close together, they can't actively contract. So what we want is that the optimal position where they can basically bind together and give the best force. So I've got a stretch band with me, and I'm going to get on the ground and show you those stretches real quick. But anyways, I just want you to kind of get an understanding of why we want good flexibility. Now again, there's not a perfect flexibility measurement, as far as it's kind of figuring out your body over time and seeing, depending on your performance, sometimes you want a little bit tighter muscles because of the activation of the contraction that you're wanting to do. So there's going to be a lot of variety in that. But in general, it's just mainly getting the joints opened up and then releasing the tension of the muscles around there is the name of the game. So let's go ahead and get on the ground here. I've got a stretch band. And before, again, like I said, when we did I'll recap these real quick with the hip mobility exercises. But laying on the back, we did the windshield wipers. We did side to side. So feet and knees are about shoulder width apart. Then we did knee to chest, where we pulled in and out, switching. Good. And then we had it to where we brought the knee over the top. Just nice and easy to open up the hip. Same thing on the other side. And then we went into laying on the side and did our leg lifts on the side. Now I want to go back in and kind of recap some of the bigger major muscle groups around. Remember, it's a game of forces, so if we knock out the main forces, then it's easier to keep those big joints opened up. So what I like to do is, you can keep one leg straight or one knee bent, but when I'm doing a hamstring stretch, laying back is always better to do for the hamstring. Keep one knee bent, that way you can secure your pelvis, and then nice easy relaxation. So sometimes I'll, depending on how tight it is, I'll pull it for 5, 10, 20 seconds, nice and easy. Then I'll release it and then do the pull again. So my whole goal with this is just to warm up into the motion. Once I feel like I've done a few of these, then I focus on the hold for 15 seconds. So again, I have this knee bent, hip and knee slightly bent. I'm pressing basically my belly button flat into the ground here. Nice easy pull. 10, 15, 20 seconds. So again, I'll do a few of these and then I ramp into the 3 sets of 15 seconds. The whole goal is kind of relaxing that muscle, let the joint receptors, nerves, everything kind of relax, calm down. Then it's easier to get that stretch on. Then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, knee bent. Now sometimes if you have really tight calf muscles, you'll feel that pull when you're pulling the toe toward you. Again, same thing. Start out easy, 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And then once you have a few of those in, then you can do the pull. And that's where you do that static hold for 10 to 15 seconds. Anyways, up to 30 seconds. Just depends, again, the activity you're going into. So I like to kind of just stay relaxed, let the nervous system calm down here. Now the other one was what we did was the side pull. So adding into that one with that knee bent, pulling across the chest. Now I'm gonna go knees bent here, straighten the leg, pulling across the side. Same thing, I like to ease into it. Maybe sometimes I do a few reps at first before doing the static hold. After I do a few of those, same thing, 15, 20 seconds. Switching sides. Now if it bothers your hip or your back, you can always let this knee bend, especially if you have really tight hamstrings. Sometimes people like to put a pillow behind their head. But again, the whole goal is just letting your body relax That way this muscle allowed to pull over to the side. So if you're new to these, the best thing I think is to go through some reps, like where you're doing the pull. Sometimes I'll have clients do anywhere from 2 to 3 sets of 10 where they just do the pull straight up and down, let those muscles relax. Then we go to the static hold and do 3 sets of 15 seconds. Same thing on the other side, pull up and down 2 to 3 sets of 10, get that joint moving, opening up, then do the static hold, let it relax. Same thing with the other one, we're gonna do the straight leg across the side there. So, start adding those two in with the hip mobility stuff, because again, now that we start getting the main joints opened up, we want the bigger muscle groups to start opening up too. So with that being said, you can also add in a modified piriformis stretch, and sometimes I like to grab a chair, so let me just grab this chair real quick so you can kind of see this, but with this one, set the posture first, so hips and knees slightly bent. I'll pull that heel. If you need to go higher, sometimes if you have really tight hips, sitting in a higher surface is better than real low, because this can be a little bit more intense stretch. I get that heel up on top. I like to use my body weight, the elbow, and then lean forward. So straight forward, nice and easy. Open that hip up, and then relax. Same thing, nice and easy. So again, I like to do reps. This is my personal take. You can do whatever you want. So some kind of warm up, like those mobility exercises, then going into stretch. This is like the next warm up into the stretch. Again, I want to get that joint nice and opened up. Nice easy stretch. Shoulder, chest up, leaning forward. Use that elbow if you need to push a little bit extra. Maybe a couple sets of 10. Lubricate, get that joint moving. Then again, just like we did the hamstring piriformis stretch, that laying down on your back, then I like to lean into it and hold it for 15 seconds. That warms the joint up. Then same thing, other side, hip and knee slightly bent. Use my body weight. Again, maybe I can go into, do a couple of reps where I just in and out, nice and easy. That helps loosen it up. Do a couple of sets. 1, 2, 3 sets of 10, whatever works for you. Open that joint up. Then again, go into your static hold. 10, 15, 20 seconds, 3 sets of that. So again, my body weight, leaning forward. So each hip's gonna be a little bit different in tightness because of your hand dominance and which muscle groups you may use. Another one on top of that, so once we get the hips and everything opened up, again, I call that the core area, your hips and the low back, your abdominals, because you have everything working synergistically together. Then we can it's easier once we get the pelvic and everything lined up to then open up your thoracic a little bit more. So sit in a chair. A lot of times I like to do is either, this one has a rest, but sometimes I like to put the hand down if it's a bench or chair and just doing side leans. So then I'll open up sideways, couple sets of 10, 15, and then same thing, other direction. If you have something to push down onto, you can push your hand, put body weight on the arm, and that's that frontal plane to side. You can also add in rotational crossover. This opens your thoracic. That releases the tension in the rib cage, also the shoulder blades for your shoulders, your neck. So as these aren't so much of an active stretch, but they are the motion that you want to start releasing the tension there, so that as you go into more upper body stretches, flexibility, then it's a lot easier because your bones are in a better position so your muscles can relax. So I can do, hold, stretch it out at the end, hold, stretch it out at the end. Same thing here, sitting, lean over, hold. So after I do my sets of 10 to 15 each side, then I grab, do the distraction of the joint, open it up, and do the hold. So that opens up the area here. So that's a good start. Work on the main joints first, and then it makes everything so much easier. So again, we start at the core, the hips, low back, get everything moving there. Your hamstrings, your glutes, your quads. The quad one, sometimes if I don't do the, kneeling, that's a good one, like the runner stretch or just a kneeling stretch. I like to use a bench sometimes, but you know, if you have something to put on your knee, flex hip and knee slightly bent. Don't let the back arch, arms overhead, reaching up. Good. Same thing here, you can add in your cross rotational, kind of open up the chest a little bit more. And then you're gonna flip it. Hip and knee slightly bent, lean forward. Open up, don't arch the back. So I like to suck the stomach in, and then also do my rotational side to side. Perfect. So if we're not standing, you know, you can do a standing one where you have the chair, turn it sideways, just for the balance. So you can grab your foot. Sometimes this one, it gets offset a little bit as far as the pelvis because of my standing. So I don't always like to do that one. But what I would do is, if I have a physio ball or a chair, I can put my foot on there. And this takes a little bit more balance work. Of course, you want something to hold on to. And then I can lean into it, and I'll have more, you know, for me, at least using the physio ball and I'm kneeling on the ground, and I have more control opening up. And that way, you know, once I get that quad kind of, I set the posture first, then I can add in my rotational side to side, knee in line with the foot, and then up overhead. Again, just releasing the rib cage, the thoracic, the core, abdominals. And that's a great start to your flexibility program.